earlier. Talk about having new kind of running backs having confidence in their offensive line. How do you feel about the between running back and offensive line?
Just time and putting the work in. Like I think that's big. You had the 15 practices in the spring where you take that first step, but there's like no secret there's no shortcut. There's no magic. It's just putting the time in, the work in, spending time together this summer, and then obviously fall camp. There'll be a huge piece of that as well.
Have you seen those steps? Have you seen the running backs have more confidence in the linemen?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, just you see the growth and development, and obviously with Adam, get some snaps even against Texas. Like that's a big deal. They went out there in a game and he did it, and then you get the 15 practices in the spring, and then you got fall camp to keep building that cohesion. Yeah, I think anytime there's no substitute for experience. So when you have a collective group of guys that played a lot, not only does it make them better, it also makes the guys that are coming better, and they get to see those things. But I think the biggest thing for us is just putting the work in, and just trying to develop. You want to develop competition at every single position. Like that's the goal. Like even the two older tackles, you want them to be pushed by the young guys, and I just think that's huge to keep creating that competition, and I'm excited about it. Like I felt like we took a good first step last year, but now we got to continue to build on that and just have put the work in. That's what it's going to take.
How are you feeling about the overall health? I know the spring you guys were mixing and matching some of the younger guys to get some older guys rest.
Everybody's back. I think maybe Ronan O'Connell had a back. I think he's the only guy that's not like full speed out there, but everybody else.
And Ronan, do you expect back in fall camp?
I think he'll be back like individual drills, but I think as far as contact, with back you got to be careful.
Right.
But I think everybody else is full speed. Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
Does.
How do you feel? So now you bringing back this guy Walker Parks, Steve this room, having a 6-year back.
Right. Yeah. Walker's awesome. I mean, there's a certain level of accountability that he demands, and him being around a while, he's played around. I think the guys respect him. They respect his work ethic, all the things that he's been through, all the injuries he's had to overcome. Like he's invaluable to our room, and just really, he's played a lot of spots for us. Tackle, guard, has even taken some snaps at center in practice. So I mean, he's a guy that can truly play all 5 spots, but as a guy that from an accountability standpoint, I really lean on, because obviously. You want to have, it's my job to hold them accountable. When the players hold each other accountable, it's even better. So I think he is truly a leader, and has a lot of experience, and the guys respect him.
Any question about Colin, whether he can stay healthy?
Well, I mean, I think so. I mean, I think he's a guy that's got a lot of ability, and just excited about him. I think maybe right before the NC State game, it's when he got hurt. So a lot, he's a guy that I think can play a bunch of different spots for us as well. He probably play 4 different positions, both guards, both tackles. He's got really good athleticism, and I'm really excited about him. Like you don't worry about the injuries. It's a part of football. I think everybody goes through it at one time or another. So I don't think that's unique to Colin. I think that's just football. I think injuries are a part of the game, but really excited about fall camp and getting him back out there and getting after it, because he certainly worked really hard this summer.
How big was it to get Tristan and Blake to retain those two?
Yeah, I think that's huge. I just think that's a credit to Coach Sweeney and the culture. And I think you have all these people all around the country that are worried about keeping all these different guys. But I just think it's a credit to Coach Sweeney and our culture that that really wasn't ever a question. I think they wanted to come back, and they have something to prove, and felt like, again, just us as a unit, I felt like we took a great first step last year, and now we have to go put the work in and build on that.
I think this time last year you were really impressed with Elijah Thurman, what he did in his first spring. fast forward this year, who are some of the freshmen this time around that you were really impressed by this spring?
Yeah, I think we had, with all those guys come, with the exception of Tucker, all those guys were in spring practice, and I think they all showed flashes. And so you just don't ever want to say too much early about a freshman, but we certainly have some talented young players, and I want those guys to have a competitive mindset to go in and challenge. Because they didn't come here to sit on the bench; they came here to play. And but they're obviously with offensive linemen especially, there's a progression. But I do want those guys to have that mindset to come in and challenge.
How do you think the confidence has come for Ryan Linthicum? This time last year had never started a game. Now he started all 14 last year. Where do you think he's at? As he approaches his last year.
I think there is a certain level of confidence there. Just even with him, the way he's walking around, he's changed his body. He looks totally different. And he played a lot. He played more snaps than anybody else on our offensive line last year. So I think with that comes a level of confidence, and I'm excited to see him build on that.
How much is the flexibility you have at guard with so many options? How much of a luxury is that?
I think it is. I think it's a good thing. But what I want to see is competition. I think everybody talks about depth, but one thing depth does provide is competition. And when you know if you go out there and have a bad day, somebody's going to take your spot, that makes you practice a little bit better. And I think everybody thinks about depth and like it's a long season and guys get hurt. You need to have guys that can step in. I'm more thinking about it day to day. Like competition creates, a healthy competition makes your whole team better. And so I'm looking forward to the competitions and guys pushing each other and holding each other accountable and making each other better. And then obviously toward the end of the season, when you get into the playoffs and it's a long season, like you have guys that can step in and you're not having to mix and match and move guys around because it is a long season. So you just want to create that depth. I mean, you don't. I mean, you want to have 15 if you can. But I would say, typically if you got 8 or 9 guys that have a legitimate chance, that's pretty good. I don't know that I've ever had 10, guys where you just know you feel great about. But just trying to create that depth, I think, is huge. But I would say 8 or 9. If you guys you feel good about, you feel comfortable. Yeah. I don't know. That's always a work in progress. So you don't want to put a number on that. But you do have you had spring practice to kind of work toward that, and then you got all fall camp to just keep building it. You want to try to get that number as high as you can.
For Tristan, what is the next level? Maximizing his potential look like?
Yeah, just putting the work in. I mean, I think he had a good year, and he was really kind of battling that ankle injury last year, especially the last 3 or 4 games, probably playing 60%, just out there battling. But just, putting the work in. I think building on the foundation that we started with last year. There are no shortcuts. There's no, magic. You just got to go put the work in. And I think that's what we have to do as a whole, especially my unit. You just got to go put the work in. We have a vision of what we want it to look like, and then trying to make that vision come to life on the field. That's what when we walk on the field, we want it to look a certain way, and we got to go put the work in to make that vision come to life on the field.
What are the options behind Ryan at center when you want to kind of create competition?
Yeah, Harris Sewell has played a lot, and I feel very comfortable with him snapping. He's also played a bunch of guard, which at guard you have to be super physical. So when you move him into center, it gives you, some size and some strength in there. So I feel really good about Harris. That would probably be the next option right away. And we'll want Harris to get in there and get some snaps at guard, but also to push Ryan at center. Because there's no given spots. I want Braden and Elijah to put to push Tristan and Blake. I want those guys. I want Colin Sadler. He's going to play some guard, but obviously he's going to be working some tackle too. So that's the challenge. Is okay. We got to create a cohesive unit, but we also want to create some competition, and that makes everybody better. I think his size. That's when you walk out there, like that's kind of like everybody sees it. Well, that's kind of a big deal. Like he's a big guy that can move. But I just think there's a lot of work to be done, just as far as technique and footwork. And sometimes you, as a bigger guy, that's really athletic, you can get away with some things. But creating that the footwork and the technique and being very finite on those little things, I think he'll just keep getting better and better. And then obviously the speed of the game. You know, I thought Coach Sweeney did a really good job putting him against, Peter and TJ, and him going out there and being challenged early. It's a challenge, but it also gives you confidence. Like, okay, I can do this. So I think he's got a bright future ahead of him for sure. That's too early to tell. I mean, I'm gonna put him out there and put him in those situations and see how he does. But he's still got to go earn it. You don't give anything to anybody. He's got to go earn it. And obviously there's a lot of work to do there. But I'm excited about the future for him.
Where's the fine line, or is there a fine line on you want to create the competition, particularly like you got a lot of guys at guard.
Yeah.
That you roll out there, wanting to have a group in place for that first game where there's some continuity.
Yeah, well, that's the challenge. But that's the good thing about having experienced guys is we got a pretty close-knit unit. And I feel we talk about not being five pennies but one nickel, being together and being a cohesive unit. And that's what we spend all of fall camp doing, is creating that cohesion. Yeah, I think the strength of Ryan's game, he's very, very cerebral. He can process information, and he's very confident. So when he communicates, he's confident, and he makes those guys feel very comfortable with how he communicates. Now I want to see him take the next step from a physicality standpoint, and just from an overall. Just finishing blocks. He's changed his body, so when you see him, he's going to look different. And so we've worked really, really hard on his nutrition and all the little things. So him to take that next step, but it's kind of the same thing across the O-line. Like, okay, like we took a good first step. Now let's build on. Let's add to it. Let's go put the work in. And again, try to make that vision that we have, what we want it to look like, come to life on the field. No, that's something we've been working on since the first spring game, and so I think it's all. But it's not just Ryan; that's everybody. So that everybody's working on. There's a direct correlation between your body composition and performance on the field, and so that's. But we have a great job in the weight room. Our nutritionist with Megan, like we do a really, really good job there. But there's certainly been a focus on that for us. Yeah, I think anytime like you step away, it gives you a unique perspective, and the things that you miss, and obviously the time that you get to spend with family, and you value the time. So not about the quantity of the time, but the quality of the time that you have with your family. And so I think that's you're very, very intentional about that, because you know that, and obviously this place is built on family, and the family always being around, and it's welcomed, and I think that culture certainly makes it special for my family.